Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Working Group for Seamless Parcels presentation. I'm Anna Verrill, Senior GIS Analyst with CGIA. I am the moderator for the session as well as a co-presenter, along with my colleagues Pam and John, who I'll introduce here in a minute. I am the project manager for the NC Parcels project with CGIA. Pam Carver is the Land Records Supervisor for Henderson County Tax Department. She has almost 36 years of experience in the development, maintenance, and modernization of a comprehensive land record system that includes an integrated GIS and CAMA system. Pam is active in several mapping and GIS related state and national organizations and is currently serving on the Carolina EURISA board as secretary. Pam is a co-chair for the working group for Seamless Parcels for the North Carolina Integrated Cadastral Data Exchange Project. John B. Bridgers holds a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration and a Bachelor of Arts in History from UNC Pembroke, and a Master of Arts degree in Geography and Planning from Appalachian State. John was in county government for over 20 years, working first as a tax mapper in Davie County from 1993 to 1999, and then as the supervisor of land records in Yadkin County from 1999 to 2007. In 2007, he was named a tax assessor for Polk County until joining the Secretary of State as a land records consultant in 2012. He was elected to the board of the North Carolina Property Matters Association in 2001, serving as president in 2005, and is known to property mappers across North Carolina as Lord Yadkin. So as we get started today with the presentation, I would encourage you to please open the chat by clicking the join chat button and provide any comments or questions you have throughout the session, and we'll get to those at the end. As another note, the presentation will be recorded, and the video will be available on YouTube following the conference. So today we'd like to share some history and background on North Carolina's Seamless Parcels initiative, providing you an update of the working group for Seamless Parcels. We'll also share some information regarding the data provisioning and publishing process and show how the data can be accessed in NC OneMap. We plan on, as mentioned, using the last 5 minutes for questions from y'all. Here's a timeline of the parcels within the state of North Carolina, including where we are today with the statewide product. North Carolina's Land Records Management Program has assisted in the modernization of land records since the 1970s to pave the way for the current status, all 100 counties having digital parcel boundaries and property attributes. Prior to 2015, a statewide parcels data set for North Carolina did not exist. The North Carolina Geographic Information Coordinating Council created an initiative for the development of a statewide parcels data set. A working group was created in 2008 to guide this work. The Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians has land in 5 counties and became a project partner with the state in 2009. The initiative got a tremendous boost with a grant from the US EPA's Exchange Network in 2009. A subset of the working group formed a project team in 2012 that met weekly and worked for nearly 2 years to complete the grant and the release of the solution for 1/4 of the state in 2014. Members of that project team included CGIA, the Land Records Management Program, the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, Henderson County, regional organization, North Carolina DOT, and North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. And the contracting team included the Carbon Project and Nancy Von Meyer. As part of this initiative and with the grant funding, the state of North Carolina developed an online ETL tool for integrating parcel boundaries from county sources into a statewide product called the NC Parcels Transformer. In 2015, we accomplished full participation in the initiative and had North Carolina's first statewide seamless parcels layer. This statewide resource informs decisions in many areas such as economic development, emergency management, transportation planning, land development, utility management, public health, and forestry. With that introduction, I will hand things over to John.
Good morning, y'all. As you can see on the map here is the pilot counties, and there were 25 pilot counties that began with. You see the clump there in the east, that is the Eastern Carolina COG, and so they were, what we wanted was counties that were urban and rural and scattered across the state, and we wanted also to see contiguous counties to see how the county boundaries matched up. So a lot of these were volunteered, some of them were voluntold, but you see the 25 counties there scattered across the state. All right, we can go to the next one, please. And here's how the early statewide participation, the dark green are the pilot counties. The ones in turquoise came in early 2015, and the ones that are in the dark blue were in progress there in March of 2015, and then the rest of the light blue were later on in that year, and everybody came in by the end of 2015. And why it took so long to get everything into the program was every individual county's attribute layer or attributes for their GIS parcel layer had to be matched up or crosswalked with the statewide schema, so that if one county's name for the property owners was last name, comma, first name, and another county was last name underscore first name, they would not match. So we had to crosswalk those to match the statewide schema. Okay, we can go to the next one. So the ongoing challenges are the consistency of in the attribute fields, what's coming from the counties. Several fields are consistently lacking in information from the counties, and that's either that the fields do not exist in the county CAMA system, or the computer-assisted mass appraisal, or the tax system, or in the GIS data, or there's no information populated, they just don't put it in there. And so the working group has begun to meet on this and to see if we can get a better participation and more data from the individual counties across the state. And some of the information that is not provided is site address, parcel use descriptions, present use value, the last sale date of the parcel, structure year or year built information. So all that kind of stuff is important for somebody that's using the data from across the state. So with that, I will turn it over to Pam.
Happy Friday, everyone. And for those of you down east, I just wanted to let you know the sun is out here and it's headed your way. It's been quite a ice event. So the current participation right now, since 2016, the WGSP has requested that people update their data biannually. Now in 2020, we started requesting quarterly updates. A little bit more for everybody to deal with, but I think we're really doing good in that aspect. First of all, to use the translator, you have to have an NC ID. And anyone who has one realizes that they request you to update your password quarterly. So we're using that to remind everybody when you update your NC ID, it's time to upload some more parcels. Last year in 2020, we had 98 counties that participated. It's understood that sometimes counties go through lack of personnel and different changes that require that. So the group and CGIA is always there to support counties if they need any help. But we actually had 43 counties that were able to update every quarter. I think that's pretty good. It's getting close to 50%. I'd like to see that go up a couple, 20, 30% over the next year. And that's what we're working on, trying to do some outreach. So like in Q1, we had 66 updates, in 2, we had 87, Q3, 84, and then the last quarter, there were 77. This year, so far, our map says 38. There were actually a bunch added yesterday, and we're up to 46 counties already. Even I like to wait until I finish the previous year before I update the first quarter, because I like to have that 2020 all in the background and done. And we've had deeds coming in slowly. Our register deeds been behind. So we just finished the year a couple of weeks ago. So I expect to see more coming on very soon. Next slide. So schema compliance. How can we guarantee, certain fields are going to be populated all the time? So the group has been meeting a lot in recent months, and we're determining how to best outreach to the counties to help them and to gain better schema compliance. Which fields are more important than the others? The working group has classified the fields. So we have fields that are automatically populated, and that would be your state ID, the county name, the county ID, that kind of information that's very important for census and for distribution of funds, really important information. And then we have fields that we consider to be optional. These are fields that don't seem to be needed as much. Maybe they're harder fields for the parcel people to populate. And then we have fields that we consider recommended, fields that have been desired more from our users, the end users who download the data. And then we classified a group of fields as required. And of course, we're not enforcing a requirement right now. We're trying to find out from the counties how they can meet these needs. So that's the next question. How easy is it for county data stewards to maintain these fields? And so what we have done is we've created a questionnaire that has been sent out. I think we've pushed it out twice. We haven't gotten a lot of responses. 7 or 8 counties have responded to that. Expect to see more requests for that in the next week or so. I will be taking over that responsibility and trying to get in touch with counties and get some more information. And are there any roadblocks that we can ease by working with CAMA vendors? We've started a list of CAMA contacts, different vendor contacts, and we plan on involving them in letting us know what information is in their CAMA system, and if there's an easy way for that information to be extracted and used by the parcel people to attach to their polygons and upload to the translator. We're also going to be in touch with the Department of Revenue, County Commissioners Association, and of course SMAC, who is where our working group is under SMAC, and the GICC, and in Department of Revenue, and include them in, after we start working with the parcel people, here's what we were going to get, what other information can you help us with in getting this out. If anyone here listening is a data steward, I'd like you to realize we're gonna be working on this more in 2021 and trying to get it to be a habit. Slide 3. So user stories, how are people using this information? One of the big things in 2020, it provides the county a place to access offsite data. We actually had a couple counties in North Carolina whose data was hijacked and held ransom. And if anybody has known anyone that's experienced this, paying the ransom is not typically a good idea, because as soon as you get your system running again, they will hijack it again. So we actually had some counties that restored their data from the data that is stored by North Carolina on NC OneMap. So give that a consideration, because the hacking went way up in 2020. I don't know when, it's a big deal. Also, a lot of you may not know that when you upload your data, it automatically creates compliant metadata. And I know there's a lot of people out there, metadata isn't fun to do, but just so you know, you automatically have compliant metadata as soon as you translate your data to the translator. It's an automatic offsite backup. North Carolina Archives has a digital preservation program. And if you go look at that program, it'll refer you to the records retention schedule. And if you go to that program, the retention schedule, it'll refer you to CGIA. And then for their recommendations on backing up data. And this group is a part of that system. So it just makes sense to use us to do backups on your data. Back in the day, when we used to have to archive our data according to NC archives, we had to roll up our Mylars in a box, put them in a box and take them to Raleigh, leave them there to be microfilmed. We would do it during conferences or whatever, and then pick them up and bring them home. It took us a whole year to get one set of our data archived. So 15 minutes to upload to the translator is way better idea. Structure Year is being used by Duke University to aid in creating a lead-free home applications for renters and buyers. It's a really important program, and they just started it, I believe last summer is when they started doing it. And they were using our data, and they realized that only 43 counties were using year built. There were only 43 of them populating that attribute in the schema. So they started having to contact the counties individually to get that data. It's a lot of time and a lot of work. And, you know, when you have to call somebody and ask for data and maybe sometimes have to ask again, you know, you feel like you're spending a lot of time and work pestering people. So that's one of our goals is one of the things they discovered while they were calling everybody is that every single county has year built data. It's really a base for appraisal to know when a structure was built. So that's just an example of what our goal now in trying to get better data. Kristen Foslin from NC Railroad has to build a parcels data set for across 7 counties. And he used to spend a lot of time doing that. He just now goes and downloads it and he's done. It's updated. Instead of him having to put all that information together. Remember, everybody's schema is different and you get all these attributes and a few of them are going to come into your table and then a lot of them, you're going to have to do a lot of certain things to get that to happen. So saved him a ton of time and he called me the other day just to let me know that. I also was contacted by Laura Anderson, who's an instructor at Appalachian State University, and she's working with a student to explore absentee ownership in the hot country. It's really important for these students to have good data to work with and to have consistent data where they can come up with more ideas on how to use GIS, because these are the people that are going to advance our science. I get the chills a little bit because they're the ones that we want them to have data. We want our data to be the best in the country. And I can tell you, I've been to a few states with this parcel project and we have a really good system. And Anna, with that, I will turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, Pam and John. I would like to go over with you now the general workflow for contributing to the NC Parcels data set. And this graphic shows the general workflow for counties to contribute. The local government GIS offices create and maintain the parcel data. They retain the ownership. The parcels data is then uploaded into the NC Parcels transformer. The NC Parcels transformer then translates the local data fields and geometry into the statewide standard for all 100 counties. And the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians is also included. NC OneMap harvests the transformed data and publishes this to their website. So digging into that workflow process a little bit, the local data steward maintains the data as mentioned and provides that data to the transform. The transform then takes the county data, transforms this into the statewide standard, and reports out any translation errors. CGIA checks these initial transform files for errors and coordinates with the county data steward if needed. And if all is well, CGIA publishes the data, again, once the transforms are clear of errors. The transformer then creates the final individual county data in the statewide standard and publishes the data into both a zipped shapefile download and a web feature service. CGIA has a script that runs on a weekly basis to grab this final data set, create the county downloads, create the statewide download, and extracts the data from the web feature service and publishes this to the NC OneMap, web map service, and web feature services. There are 3 options for a county to provision data into the parcels transformer. We encourage direct downloads, direct uploads by the county. This requires, as mentioned, obtaining and maintaining an NCID. Approximately 39 counties, when I last tallied, choose this option. There is also the option of uploading the data to the Secretary of State FTP site. Approximately 31 counties choose this option. And we also sometimes obtain the updates through direct data downloads from the county websites or their open data sites. And this is how we acquire the data for the other 30%. We do try to verify the date of the data for those we download ourselves. If there is no date on the file or the metadata, we check these against the current NC OneMap data to determine if the data seems to be newer than the last update. So again, just highlighting once again the statewide data checks. At the statewide level, the transformer reports any translation errors that fall out from the ETL process. These could be fields not mapping, attributes not found in certain lookup tables, and linear ring geometry errors. CGIA also further checks things to see if any fields that were not translated, that kind of seem like they're missing, are actually still in the data, but maybe named something else. Maybe the field name changed. That would break the transform, but the data would still be in that original data. So we also check to see if the original data was provided in the correct coordinate system. And we check to see if the parcel numbers between the original file uploaded and the end statewide file, to see if those parcel numbers match. We compare those. If the numbers are off, it's chances are that the transformer itself removed parcels due to empty geometry or other geometry errors. So sometimes we run a repair geometry to fix the original file. Most of the time there are no errors found, and once CGIA verifies this, the data are published through the transformer. Access to the Seamless statewide dataset can be found in NC OneMap. The data are provided in several formats, which I will show in a few minutes. These are the web map service, web feature service, a statewide download, and download zips for each county. There is also a web application for online lookup and display. On NC OneMap, you can also find the metadata and the parcel standards documentation. And as mentioned, this data is archived on a biannual schedule in line with the NC OneMap archival policy. So I know we're kind of running out of a little bit of time here, but I know we're also running up against a break. So just bear with us while we share where to find things on NC OneMap. So on nconemap.gov, you can find the parcels data on the homepage by scrolling down into the featured web apps. You can see the statewide parcel information card here. It says property, and you can go to the data. And this brings you to the open data page for parcels. Get to the parcel polygons here. And this is where you can download a spreadsheet or a shapefile of the data, KML as well. You can view the metadata here. You can also get to the web service links here as well. So back from the home page, there are also other mechanisms to get the data. There's lots of ways to get the data on NC OneMap. Here's where you can get some direct downloads. In the parcels dropdown, you can get the full statewide by selecting all counties, or you can select the county of your choice. We also have a specific page for parcels under data products. If you navigate to parcels, you will see here a whole page introducing you to the parcels data. Here, this is a map showing the status of uploads throughout the state. And if you click on this map, you can actually also get to the downloads here. You can also get to the full statewide by clicking on this file database link. And then at the bottom, underneath all these questions, you can get to the parcel standard if you want to know what the fields are and their definitions and all that stuff. So that's where you can find the data on NC OneMap. And just jumping over back to the presentation, we just want to share one more thing here. So these are a few items that county data stewards can continue to do to help with the Seamless Parcels initiative. It's good to check and repair your geometry prior to uploading the data. Provide complete information in the attribute table to assist with the consistent attribution of the statewide schema. Be mindful of your schema changes, as that could break the transforms. Request an NCID so you can perform the transforms directly. And provide updates on a quarterly basis. Before we jump over to questions, we want to thank everyone who continue to make the NC Seamless Parcels initiative successful. Let me jump over to the chat. We do have a lot of comments coming in here. Looks like we still have about 3 minutes to go through these. And again, we're up against a break, so I think if we go over a little bit answering these questions, we'll be okay. So Michelle Babson says good morning, and hey Pam and John. And Lord Yadkin, she commented. Okay, we have a question from Sam. Why is the parcel data for Madison and Anson counties the oldest specifically?
John, would you like to answer that?
Well, Anson County had a personnel change, and they did not have anybody that had the GIS knowledge enough to provide the data on a regular basis, and that's basically what's going on there.
Yep. I have heard from Madison County earlier in January, and they're just waiting for the tax system refresh so they can connect the new tax table to the data. So they should be updating soon here in Q1.
Every county has, you know, situations that happen like that. So
yeah. David is asking, is there a requirement for counties to submit updates? Is this requirement statutory? No, it is not. Not that I'm aware of.
No, it's all voluntary.
Yeah.
But it provides a great help to the citizens, and it also helps the counties because it prevents all these different state agencies and other entities coming to the county and say, hey, can I have your data? Can I have your data? Can I have your data?
Yeah. So Christian Forsland was listening in from NC Railroad, and he mentioned to compile the data that he used to compile prior to the Seamless data statewide data set being available. It was every 6 months, and it took 2 to 3 days each time if all went well, and he said it never did. So he said, thanks, Pam and John. Zolt is on. He says, hi, Pam. I heard you mention state archives. If a county participates in the Seamless Parcels program, are they automatically complying with the records retention requirements?
A few years ago, I remember working with Tom Morgan, and he was the one that discovered and told us that, yes, you would be compliant. And as I explained, the little cycle when you go to theirs and then they send you to the retention records and then that sends you to CGIA recommendations. So yeah, I think that what we used to do in Henderson County, where we had our cadastre microfilmed once a year to be compliant, that doing this and backing up your records and using this program does make you compliant with that.
Jack Drost says, very helpful data to any organization, COGS, land trusts, etc., that serves an area covering several counties. Thank you, Jack. Christian Forslin agreed with you there. Robin Etheridge from Dare County says, Anna V has been so helpful and walked Dare County through it. She could dumb it down for us so we could easily understand what to do. You're very welcome, Robin. Happy to help. Christy Fieros asked, sorry if I butcher your name there, but she asked, are any other NC tribes included?
No, there's no other tribe in the state that has this a sovereign like the Cherokee Eastern Band of Cherokees are. So the Lumbee Indians, for instance, is the largest tribe in the state, but they don't have tribal lands.
David Blackstone, what products are used to transform the local data? I mentioned it briefly, but we have a contract with a vendor called the Carbon Project. They have produced a cloud transform system that runs all the ETLs. You can set up all the different settings for the different various fields in all the 100 different counties through that platform. And it's called the Carbon Cloud.
And originally in the beginning of the project, the WGSP was able to be rewarded a grant from the EPA for $500,000. And that was the money that we used to build this translator. And Carbon was the vendor that was chosen through that process.
Great, thanks. So Christian Forslin has comment on the web mapping services, web feature service often stalling. Not sure if it's due to updates being completed that slow down the service downtimes. Is there a plan to mitigate lag, downtime, etc.? Maybe updates outside of business hours. So currently I do believe we try to do those updates over the weekend, but I will submit this comment with our developer who manages and publishes those services, and he can get back to you and maybe even coordinate with you to see if we're migrating things to the cloud, and maybe we can see if we can speed things up that way or not have it be down as often. And I see you corrected here. You didn't say it was down often, just occasionally. So thank you. I will provide that to our developer. And then we have some comments, just great presentation, excellent data resource. Thank you for your work and your presentation. And many thanks to all the participating counties. Yes, definitely thanks to them.
Anna, if I can go back to the question about the other Indian tribes, the Cherokee Indians, the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians lands are not taxed by the county, so they're not in the county parcel systems. Whereas like the Cherokee Indians, excuse me, the Lumbee Indians, their land is not tribal land, and so it is taxed just like anybody else's property.
Yeah. Great, thank you for that clarification. Rich Elkins, in 2016, the project was recognized by EURISA with an Exemplary Systems in Government Award. Yes, thank you for highlighting that, Rich. Amy Axon, we use the statewide parcel dataset in numerous web applications throughout the Department of Environmental Quality. It is very helpful. And Jack Drost says, great project, great presentation. That is the end of the comments so far, and we are past time. So I will sign off by saying thank you, but I will let Pam and John also say their goodbyes.
Bye, y'all.
Have a good weekend. And thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, everybody.